I've got a classic East London walk for you today, an absolute Stonewall classic walk that I recorded about a year ago. I went out with a fantastic sound recordist called Joel Carr to record a podcast that we called Sonic Perambulation, and I shot a video to upload to my YouTube channel, and I never got round to editing it. So that's what I'm going to share with you today, the video I shot to go with Joel's amazing sound recording as we rambled around the streets of East London. We start near the Balfron Tower, go through Chrisp Street Market, down through the streets to the Limehouse Cut, London's, well, no, I'll tell you about the Limehouse Cut in the video. We walk up the Limehouse Cut to Bow Locks and then up to Stratford to not quite the Olympic Park. And it was just a brilliant walk that we did summer 2023. I'll link below to the full audio, which is about 52 minutes long. So it's just a selection of the audio that I've cut together with the video that I shot for YouTube here. So I hope you enjoy this sonic perambulation and watch the video, then go and listen to the whole thing. Let me know if you want to see more of these. Me and Joe intended to do about 5 or 6, and we only ever did this one that was also broadcast on the brilliant Resonance FM as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the sonic perambulation around the streets of East London. So welcome to this sonic perambulation with John Rogers and Joel Carr. And today we're going to take you on a walk from down here in Poplar at the wonderful Chrisp Street Market. And then we're going to follow the River Lea and the Lea navigation north to, well, who knows where. That's part of the joy and the mystery of urban rambling, to allow ourselves to be guided by both our feet and by the sounds around us. We've got the Balfron Estate over here, which was the centre of quite a controversial redevelopment. They decanted a lot of the residents out of here to do the work, and then discovered they couldn't afford to bring them back. So a lot of people were very unhappy about the way that went. We've got a pub. Sunday lunch, beef, pork or lamb, £7. Can't go wrong with that. It's interesting that this was designed by the architect Frederick Gibbard for the Festival of Britain. But because Gibbard's best known for designing Harlow Newtown, also designing Liverpool Metropolitan Cathedral, Didcot Power Station. But this often doesn't come up, Chrisp Street. I mean, it's an amazing piece. This is Britain's first pedestrianised shopping area. It's 1951 Festival of Britain, showing how urban life could be lived. You know, it was a real showcase. Of course, my favourite Frederick Gibbard building actually is Fulwell Cross Library, embarking side, which is an amazing building. It looks like a concrete UFO. It's unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. So this is great. This is a bit of kind of post-war utopianism right here that's being redeveloped. Obviously a lot of this is now listed. The clock tower down there is listed. And these buildings, I think, were only recently listed. Otherwise, who knows, they might have been swept away. Along with the Lansbury estate, named after Labour MP George Lansbury. So we're walking out of the actual market square now. Gonna make our way through the little local streets towards the Lea navigation. And of course, like, the relationship between settlement here and the river is profound, because without the development around Stratford and the docks, I mean, the docks give birth to development of the area. It spreads up to Stratford, and the railways then become centred on Stratford, and the whole thing interrelates to create this kind of population boom in an area that would have, before that really, before the Royal Docks and the Victorian expansion of London, would have been pretty, a lot of the settlements around here were quite isolated. Actually, look, you stand down here in Bygrove Street, E14. We're in the middle of a council estate. I don't know if this is the Lansbury estate. It might be the edge of the Lansbury estate, again, which was part of the Festival of Britain. But it feels like just across the road you have the fortification of Canary Wharf, which is what it feels like, a kind of fortress of capital, of international capital, sealed off from the rest of London on the Isle of Dogs. A massive private estate, that is. It's all private land. The separation is quite profound. This is quite a stunning view here, because I don't think you'll see an image anywhere in Britain, maybe in Europe, where there is such a profound chasm of wealth, of division of wealth between the rich and the poor, in those great big towers there, and then across the road here in the estate. I mean, it's well documented in terms of the disparity in wealth between the two. But of course, that's where so much of the world's money passes through those tower blocks over there. And none of it kind of finds its way into these streets, which is quite a contrast to when that was docks. You know, it would have been a hive of activity, but it also would have supported the livelihoods of the people in these streets. And also, a lot of the, not a lot of, but there was some of that wealth found its way into these streets through one way or another, let's just say. But there's nothing falling off the back of the cart from those tower blocks, is there? Yeah, look. So the information board here is fantastic. This area was covered by 19th century housing before World War II. That's where Charles Booth carried out the studies of the lives of ordinary Londoners. He created these kind of poverty maps that were multicoloured. I think Booth was some sort of religious nonconformist. I think he might have been a Quaker or something like that anyway. But it was devastated by bombing in World War II. It says a quarter of the buildings were destroyed or damaged. Wow. It's amazing here, it says the Blitz killed 30,000 Londoners and left over 1.2 million of them homeless. It's astonishing, really. And the park is built to service the Lansbury estate. So this is the Limehouse Cut, which was a shortcut really, taken off the Lea navigation to link it to the Thames, to the Limehouse Basin. So it's just like an oldest, you know, it's a real proper old industrial waterway, and actually it is the oldest canal in London. I didn't know that, actually. 1770 it opened, so it's London's first canal. And we've got the beautifully named Stinkhouse Bridge crossing the canal there. Because there were lots of chemical factories. And near it you've got the Black Ditch, which is an old medieval sewer, but it's one of Tom Bolton's lost rivers. I've walked along the Black Ditch. It's fascinating to walk that, unravel so much of the history of this part of London. The Limehouse Cut is a great walk. When your focus is on the sounds, you can't help imagining what it would have sounded like along here. Particularly when you walk under a bridge. Imagine when the horses drew the barges along the towpath under this bridge, the sound of the hoof prints on these cobbles. And I think the pipe here above our heads is carrying the Black Ditch. I have a feeling that the Black Ditch runs through that pipe. I might be wrong, but I think it does. And we're about to connect with the system of rivers around Stratford known as the Bowback Rivers. And it's claimed that some of those were created by Alfred the Great when he was changing the waterways around Stratford to strand a Viking fleet that sailed up the River Lea by lowering the water level so that they could no longer sail their ships back down the Lea to the Thames and out to sea. Stranded them up, some say around Tottenham Marshes, Walthamstow Marshes, and then the Anglo-Saxons attacked them, because apparently the Vikings weren't a lot of cop when they were away from their ships. This does make journeys along the waterways around Stratford feel like you're part of an epic quest. This is like a challenge, crossing this passage here with the cyclists rattling past. It is bizarre. I always find this bit here, Bow Locks, very dramatic point. You've got the River Lea with the Limehouse Cut, Bow Locks and Bow Creek. And just Bow Creek then splits off into what, 2 or 3 watercourses, the Channel Sea and a couple of others. It was once my ambition to know all the rivers of the Bowback rivers in the correct position, in order, off by heart. I learned it at one point, didn't use that information, and now it seems quite redundant. But I like to think of it as it once would have been in the Middle Ages, and I've seen maps of it in the 17th century, where in fact there would have been a lot more watercourses because of the, there hadn't been such successful efforts to tame the waterways. So they would have split off and there'd have been channels running across the marshes all over the place. It was a very dramatic landscape, and in some ways actually would have been quite a hazardous landscape to traverse. Famously, Queen Matilda nearly drowned by falling in the River Lea at Bow, hence the stone bridge at Stratford was built, the medieval stone bridge. Three Mills Island, a nice kind of another reminder of the heritage of the area. I think there are mills here that were recorded in the Domesday Book, obviously not the ones that are existing here now. And I think over time they've produced different things. I think gunpowder was milled here. I have a feeling there might have been a big explosion here as well from the gunpowder mills. And I think gin was made here at Three Mills Island at one point as well, that fed London's gin craze. Now it's a film studios, of course. It's really interesting, the view here, looking across towards Sugar House Lane, is how little that development has come on in the last 10 years. It started just after the Olympics, and they've done some of it, but I've been looking at a building site across this waterway for 10 years. It's very strange. It's very strange. I don't know what the problem's been. And all around it, they have completed schemes, so it seems to be particular to that particular development. So just here, on the edge of Stratford near Pudding Mill, is where this sonic perambulation will come to a close. Hope you've enjoyed strolling along with us and the different sounds that we've encountered along the way.